Hey guys, welcome to Zaboca. This is episode 3. Thank you so much for your feedback on episodes 1 and 2. Thank you to my new subscribers. Whoop whoop. If you are listening and you're not subscribed, please feel free to share the video and let people have a listen in to Zaboca. Today we are going to touch on a topic that is pretty taboo still. I mean, in 2019 it shouldn't be, but it is. We are going to talk about periods. If you're squeamish, you may not want to listen. You may want to just send it to a friend, have them listen to it, and then you'll have a conversation about it. But I do think you should stay tuned. So, what is menstruation, aka having your period? This is when blood and tissue from your uterus comes out of your vagina, and it usually happens every single month. It helps your body prepare for pregnancy. So if you're not pregnant, you'll have your period. But I have known of friends and associates who've had like a pseudo period and then discovered that they were actually pregnant. But that's for the experts to discuss, and I will at some point in time have experts. So your menstrual cycle and your period are controlled by hormones in your body like estrogen and progesterone, because you have 2 ovaries, and each one of them holds a bunch of eggs. And during your menstrual cycle, hormones make the eggs in your ovaries mature. So when the egg is mature, it means it's ready to be fertilized by a sperm cell. The hormones also make the lining of your uterus really thick and almost sponge-like. So if the egg does not get fertilized during ovulation, your uterus sheds the lining and it breaks down, and there's lots of blood and nutrients and tissue, and that is your period. That is what comes out of your vagina. I tried to explain it as simply as possible because I know there are guys who listen to this who probably don't know the process of menstruation and the whole of the entire cycle. And during ovulation, which is where when your hormones tell your ovaries, hey, let go of this egg because it's mature, and most people don't feel what happens in it. Most women don't feel when they're ovulating, but some of us do. Some of us have that sixth sense, like, yeah, I feel like I'm ovulating. And most times it is because you're bloated, you have spotting, or you might get like a little pain in your lower abdomen that most times you'll feel like on one side. Some people feel it on both sides, and we'll get more into like PMS, which is your premenstrual syndrome, which is often the butt of many jokes of people who are a-holes. So that is the basic explanation of what a period is, what the period is. So, why is there so much stigma attached to women's periods? I honestly don't know, but I've been doing research, I've been looking at things on the internet, and I've been like asking friends and chatting with people, and a lot of it stems from just ignorance, just people not, and when I say people, men, not knowing, one, the way women's bodies work, 2, lack of education on a whole, so not just knowing what goes on with our bodies, but in terms of people who live in a certain social strata, in certain countries are least informed about their bodies and the bodies of their daughters, wives, mothers, etc. And because we live in a world that has been for a very long time a very patriarchal society, it is not seen as needed or necessary information. It's not information that we need to discuss, talk about, to have a discussion about in schools, or it's kept as a secret. And when that time comes for young women who are 12, between the ages of 12 and 14, which is when first time you have your period in the past, because now with all the things that we eat, I have heard that younger women have been getting their periods, which is a bit scary to be very honest. It's 10 years old. Anyway, you haven't even like had SCA exams yet. Anyway, so because education of women and education of men and boys about the female anatomy and the way the body works has not been a priority, a lot of people don't know what really takes place, which is kind of sad because I think it's pretty awesome and majestic. It's a really amazing experience. And let me tell you something. As a girl, glad when I have my period. Like, I real happy. Like, I excited. I'm super excited. And I'm grateful, and I always have to say thanks that I live in the country that I live in, and that I have running water that is clean, or mostly. It's clean and it's regular, and I have access to medication and painkillers. I have access to products like tampons and pads that are they are super expensive, but at least I have them, and I'm really thankful. I'm really grateful. And every time I have my period, to be real honest, like, guys, I just be like, I just think about people in like war-torn countries, and like these women have their period every month, and bombs going off, and have no clean water, and they don't have access to sanitary products, and if they have issues like PCOS or endometriosis, like they're in massive pain, and bombs going off, like what? So I always give thanks, and I'm always very grateful that I'm fortunate to live in the country that I live in at the time that I live in. Let us get into PMS, premenstrual syndrome. This is a moment in time. It's about a week or 2 weeks before we actually get our period. You have bloating, some women have headaches, and some women have moodiness. For some of us, these symptoms could be real severe, and you could end up missing work or school. A lot of women aren't bothered by these symptoms, and they could just do their thing. They say online that on average, women in their 30s are most likely to have PMS. And if you speak to your doctor, they can help you find ways to relieve your symptoms. But things in terms of age and reactions, they change and they vary from woman to woman. So you really have to know your body. You really have to know yourself. And PMS and its symptoms are not a joke, because there are women who really have bad PMS. PMS to the point where you're super, super moody, and you really cannot like physically do anything about it if you haven't seen a doctor, or if you haven't been prescribed something, or if you haven't actively taken the initiative to get like natural remedies to assist you in your PMS. So for me, when people make jokes like, well, I'm she going through PMS, or she period, like it's super not funny. It's not a joke. It will never be funny. It's really 1990s humor that needs to curl up in a corner and die a very slow death. And I make no apology for saying what I'm saying. A couple of women I know take evening primrose. I can't remember the company that makes it. I think it's Nature's Way. I'm not getting sponsored by anybody, so y'all know it's not I guess it's a plug. I don't know. Some people use turmeric or saffron, and you can use the powder that you can get in the grocery store, or the root itself, which you can get in the market. And it's pretty inexpensive, and it works wonders for more than just PMS, and even pain relief during your period. Cinnamon is actually also really great for any kind of pain relief, like headaches or menstrual cramps and that kind of thing. Cinnamon has saved my life, guys. Cinnamon is beautiful. Okay, it's not just for oatmeal. It's listen, the things. Whew, love my natural remedies. Anyway, let's get into something else that happens at that PMS point and actually might go into first few days of my period. I just crave some crazy things. I used to crave currants roll. And I would like hunt for currants roll. When I will like it was so bad, guys. Like, I live in Port of Spain, our nation's capital. I would get in a taxi, and in those days it was $9 to go south. I would get in a San Fernando taxi, go to San Fernando, and right by the clock opposite Carnegie Free Library, on the other side, there's a bakery with a big blue door. I used to go to South to get that specific currant roll because that is the currant roll I was craving during PMS. I'm laughing about it now, but I got over my currant roll need and cravings when I had a boyfriend who used to work in a bakery, and I asked him to bring currant roll for me one time when I was during my PMS, and I'm still waiting on the currant roll. So yeah, I got over it by force. Now my thing is white corn restaurant chips and pretzels. It's so crazy. So if you feel like super sweet things or super salty things, pizza, but not just any pizza, really thinly rolled pizza. Oh my goodness. I enjoy pizza any other day, but when I have PMS, oh my goodness, pizza could get it. For real. Yeah, pizza is the thing. Weird things as well too, like I love pickles. I'm a big pickle fan. I just really love them. And not just pickled cucumbers, but pickled anything, really. So pickled garlic, pickled seasoning peppers or pimento. Like, yeah, once it's in vinegar, I all about it. I do also like Catch Dark or any dark chocolate, to be honest. I have learned that I have to stay away from dairy and alcohol, and these are the things that I really want at that time, but I stay away from it. I remember once going, I can't remember. I think I was going to visit my cousin, and she's living in Tigger Martin, and I was just like, dread, I could do with a yellowtail Moscato. And it wasn't because I was anything else, you know. It was PMS. It wasn't because I was wild. It was a Friday and I wanted to lime. I was just like, wheeze boy, is the fruitiness, you know? Is the fruitiness in it? Anyway, so those are some crazy things that I crave when I have my period. And most times I really shouldn't have those things. I should eat fruit and have bananas and eat bran and have healthy things and drink water, you know. Oh my goodness, you know what else I crave for earlier? Bhaji and pak choy. And I think that is because at that point in time our bodies yearn for iron and vitamin C to help us go through the entire process of menstruation. So listen, bhaji is my friend, you know. Bhaji, dashin bush, and pak choy. For those of you who don't know what these things are, bok choy and spinach. That's what I feel for. Green leafy vegetables, you know. Mustard bush as well is also, and cressels, watercress. Oh gosh, I'm a very strange person, guys. It's okay. I've never craved Zaboca though. Pun intended. Okay, guys. So those are crazy things that I crave. What do you guys crave? Put it down in the comments below. If you feel free, if you feel comfortable enough to do that. I actually also want to touch on how expensive it is to have your period. I don't have any at this point in time, as per my gynecologist's sign and seal of approval. I don't currently have any issues with PCOS and endometriosis anymore, because they've been checked. I've been checked, and I'm good to go. So this is like my standard budgeting for having my period. I'm going to run through the costs of things with you guys, especially for men, because I have a couple guys who say, well, why are let's getting party free? Because, well, my logic behind it is I spend all this money a month for something I don't have any control over. And that's why it's getting free. You understand? It stinks. So yeah, I'm going to run down the maths for having a standard period. A period that is just a basic period package. Basic period package includes tampons, pads, painkillers, your snack budget. Yeah, must have snack budget and a few other things. So get your pads and, well, no pun intended. Get your paper and your pencils out. Let's do the maths, guys. Yep. So tampons usually run me about $30. I say $29.95. My brand of choice is Playtex, and so that's why it cost me $29.95. I'll get into why I choose Playtex a little later. Pads, $9.95. I have a very small area, and so I switched from Stay Free to Kotex Teen, because Kotex Teen works for me, and that's $9.95. So that's $29.95 plus $9.95. Painkillers, I take ibuprofen 800. It has worked for me for many, many years. I try not to take many of these because it's not good, because it affects your body and your just stuff in general. So I try not to take too many painkillers that are store-bought in terms of like prescription stuff or just crap that comes in a bottle, guys. I try to do natural remedies like turmeric and cinnamon and exercise, because they're better for us. But painkillers usually run me about $6 to $8. If I do cinnamon, it's about $4 for a stick. For a bunch of sticks in the market, it might be about $5, depending on if you're friendly with your vendor. Hey, pick up yourself. My snack budget right now is $40, and that's just me being real cheap. Like, I try to keep it down on these snacks, guys. I really shouldn't be snacking. I snack, and it's bad for me. And guys, I do, but binge watching shows does not help, and I probably need to see my therapist about that. Anyway, if you have a heating pad or a hot water bottle, it probably starts at $80 and goes up from there. So let's do lower spectrum. Let's do $80. And if you're one of us who likes to have sex during your period, box of condoms, let's say between $15 and $30. So let's say $18, let's just say, yeah. And if you do that math, it's gonna come up to about $180 something. Mine came up to $187.90. So if we round it off, let's round it up, about $200 simply to have a basic period. This is a period that does not require any frills or any extra stuff, because you just have your 5 to 7 days and you do your thing, and that's that, and you don't have to worry, or you're not concerned about anything else. If you want, you could add things like underwear to your budget, because if you have a heavy flow, some people mess up their underwear, which is unfortunate. You might want to add cleaning in there. You know what I'm saying? Hydrogen peroxide and baking soda. Hey, good tip for you. If you have stained and didn't know what you could do, you're welcome. If you want, you could add more things to your snack budget, because things just get rough. You could also add your subscription, your HBO subscription, or your Hulu, or your Netflix, because we know on those nights, oh my goodness, when you just need, so you could add whatever you want to your budget when you do your period maths, but mine is about $200 every month. $200. It's only when I sat down and I did the math, I was like, oh my gosh, I really do spend a lot of money on my vagina. And that's why we stay platinum. Booyah! Okay. For my beautiful sisters who suffer with endometriosis, I'm going to let you guys know what that means. So the lining that we talked about before, the lining in your uterus, is in your uterus. So endometriosis is when that lining that's supposed to be on the inside of the uterus is outside. If you don't know what a uterus looks like, go Google it. It's there. We have the www, the World Wide Web. Go research something that's not memes, guys. All right. So the lining that's supposed to be inside the uterus is outside the uterus. It's outside of the uterus. So when that lining sheds, as it does every month, it's painful. And when I say painful, I mean like excruciating. Like, I have experienced almost endometriosis, but not exactly endometriosis. So my lining wasn't outside. There was a possibility of it being outside, but it wasn't. And I would get period pain so bad, it would feel like someone was drilling into my lower abdomen, like drilling, like one of those construction sites. And it was just, and it's a pain that you feel throughout your body, from your hair follicles all the way through to your toes. You feel it, and you all you need is a hot water bottle, because what can you do? What can you do, guys? Like, nothing. You just have to sit there and or lie there and curl up and exist with this excruciating pain. So I definitely, my sisters who have this as a condition, I really do feel it for you guys. Like, seriously, like, girls who have to miss work and school and you literally cannot function, I empathize with you guys immensely. So it actually, like, pelvic pain is bad, and in some cases you can end up like not being able to have children. Infertility is a symptom in some cases, and some women have this condition and don't even know that they have this condition. They just assume that your period is supposed to be painful AF, and it's not. A midwife once told me, you are not supposed to have period pain. It's not supposed to happen. But of course, the things we eat and what we do affects our bodies in a big way. And then, of course, if you don't know your body and if you don't pay attention to it, things get tricky and difficult. So the next condition that I actually want to touch on in this episode of Zaboca is PCOS. I've said it like maybe 6 times since the beginning of the episode. This is an acronym for polycystic ovary syndrome. Polycystic ovary syndrome. This is where women have ovarian cysts that affect their hormone levels. And so a lot of women get treated who have PCOS get treated with birth control, because birth control helps control or level out hormones in our body. It affects your period, so sometimes you get your period this month and the next month you don't get your period. And then the month after you get a period and it's heavy, or your period skipped for 2 months and then it reappears. And some women have difficulty getting pregnant as well. And it's something that of a colleague of mine by the name of Care Rupnarain, she actually has workshops for women who have been diagnosed with this condition. And she and a medical professional, a dietitian, they actually have a seminar that you can pay for, that's called Eating for PCOS, because your diet has a lot to do with the way your body works. And so if you know what to eat, then things will be a little more manageable for you. Because it's a paid session and you get individualized meal plans, because of course everybody's body is different. And they do small groups, and these women are amazing. So they're experts. What I'm going to do is I'm going to organize with Kay to actually do an interview with her, so she can discuss the condition as well as what she and her colleague are doing with Eating for PCOS and the movement that they've started. And it really is amazing, because we do need support. We do need women to help other women. And we also need men to pay attention and be like, hey, XYZ could be the reason why you have these painful periods, or why your period gets skipped and you don't know and you're not sure. So hey, maybe you could look into this. Maybe you could visit your gynecologist and see if this is what's up. Yes, that's how we have supportive men. That's how we roll. So I'm going to organize to have a conversation with Kay, and I'm going to post it. I'm going to discuss PCOS a bit more, and really get you guys more aware of this condition that is real and that is affecting so many women in Trinidad and Tobago. So if you guys are actually also interested in that, you guys could comment below and let me know if you would be interested in that. If you guys have any questions for her as well, please feel free, leave them below. When I was doing my period maths, I mentioned my brands. Now, these brands are not come by lightly. These brands I use, I have done my research, guys. My vagina and I know what we like, and so we purchase things that, work for us. The brand of tampons I use right now is Playtex, and I use Playtex because it suits the shape of my body, and because I do the kind of job that I do, or jobs that I do, I'm on my feet a lot, and I'm on my feet for long periods of time. So I have to have tampons that work for that lifestyle. Most times I double up, meaning I wear a tampon, but I also wear a pad at the same time. I don't wear 2 tampons at the same time. That's a no-no. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's a no-no, guys. Nope. So I wear a tampon and I wear a pad. And I wear the pad just in case my flow is really, really heavy and I just need that extra backup. And so I also use Playtex because they have a Super Plus, and the Super Plus is the one that I use. Any other tampon that has Super, I've tried it and they haven't really been super. They've been I tried a tampon recently from CVS, which is the American pharmaceutical chain, and their Super, which is just like 3 dots, was almost like a medium Playtex. And it was kind of weird because it didn't do it didn't it didn't do what I thought it would. It was just kind of weird. It was 100% cotton, but it didn't feel right. And like I'm imagining it now, and it's just like I could understand why some women don't like using tampons. That is one of the things. And I think that's a good point to kind of settle on for a bit. A lot of women don't use tampons because they're uncomfortable. And I think it's because you're not putting them in right. So I'm not going to do a tutorial on that. I don't think the internet's ready for that. I think you could go find that somewhere else. That's on another channel somewhere. Plug it in, and I'm sure you'll find it. And the length of the tampon, and the length of the applicator, the width of the tampon, as well as your anatomy, like how you're biologically outfitted, also depends on like how comfortable you'll be wearing a tampon. But they're not for everybody, and I understand and respect that. I do use Cortex Teen because I like how they fit. They're comfortable, and I use unscented pads and tampons. One, I don't need to smell like flowers. I don't really feel like that's a thing for me. I'm not really comfortable with that smelling like flowers thing. Alright. My vagina and I are fine. Okay, we good. And also tampons that have scents in them are scientifically proven to have more, because they have fragrance, they have more additives. I do know as well, and I should get my slip from my tampon box, which says that because it is the quote-unquote strength that it is, I'm more likely, as a user of a S plus or super plus tampon, I am more likely to get something called TSS, which is toxic shock syndrome. So as a girl can't be walking around with a tampon for 17 hours. Like I could die. And that's not even a joke. It's real serious. And the sheet, if you know, if you've ever opened a box of tampons and you looked inside and seen a sheet, it's about the length of a subway. Well, you know, it's not a foot long because we all know that ruse. But yeah, so it tells you on one side how to insert, and then on the other side it tells you read before using and save the information, and it's in pink, bright pink, guys, because of course pink is for girls. Anyway, what every woman should know about toxic shock syndrome, and in brackets TSS. Warning: signs of TSS are, for example, sudden fever, usually 102 degrees Fahrenheit or more, vomiting, diarrhea, fainting or near fainting when standing up, dizziness or rash that looks like a sunburn. If these signs or any other signs of TSS appear, you should remove the tampon at once, discontinue use, and see your doctor immediately. So my thing with this is vomiting, diarrhea, dizziness, fever are also symptoms I get when I have my period, even if I'm just using pads. You know, as a girl could be walking around the savannah in the hot sun and be feeling cool, wearing long sleeves, or inside in AC in a sweater down, you understand, hoodie up, and I just warm like real warm, like I need a fan. Whoo, get some breeze, guys. Let's get some breeze up in the joint. So that's why I am very aware of myself and my body when I have my period. So I'm like, okay, cool. This is my first day. I could probably wear one of these for 2.5 hours. At the 2.5 hour mark, I'm gonna go to the washroom. If I know that I'm gonna be in a space where I cannot take out my tampon at the 2.5 mark, that's part of the reason for the backup, the pad. But also I'm super aware of my body. As I've gotten older, I'm like, okay, this is how I feel in this moment. Did I feel like this 10 minutes ago? Okay, what has changed? What do I need to do? Wear a hat, stand in the shade, So I'm so aware of things that shift and change in my body. So I try not to wear tampons for longer than 3 hours, even though it's a super plus and it's a sport kind of vibe thing. I also don't wear pads very long either, because they do this thing where they bunch up because you walk and sit, and they almost turn into triangles from being flat. They start to do some weird things. And so always have your backups, always have your things in your bag, always have more than you think you'll need. Because I've been like in a public restroom and put in a tampon, and it's when I'm comfortable, I'm just like, gotta come out, plum, take it out, put back in a fresh one, and I have like 4 more tampons. Always have more than you think you need. So I spoke to a family friend. We in Trinidad and Tobago have not had any cases of TSS. Very thankful for that. But there have been cases abroad of women like not knowing or forgetting that they left a tampon in and then putting another tampon in. For me, I don't know. Maybe they were so caught up in like studies and stuff. But I know. I keep track of those. I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, wait, hold on. Okay, because of how comfortable I get with it being in, it's just like, okay, all right, I don't feel it. I'm like, hey, I could do anything. Whoop whoop, I'm invincible. But that for me is a really, really scary thing. And after reading those, I got even more paranoid about taking my tampons out at the 2.5/3 hour mark, because you have to pay attention to your vagina. So those are real things. Those are things that happen. And so having a vagina is expensive. I think I need to do a vagina expose. I need to explain to people how expensive it is to maintain a platinum vagina. It is. It's in the thousands. It's a high price to pay for being a woman. And speaking of which, high price. In doing research for this episode, I stumbled upon some programs in Africa and in India where young women were not, being able to go to school and to work because they have this quote-unquote challenge every month. And so they were required by schools and the men in the communities and by, other women like mothers and aunts and grandmothers, etc., to stay home when you have your period, and not do anything and not get an education simply because you are a girl and you are 13 and your body has done some changes and some adjustments. I stumbled upon as well, I didn't stumble upon this. I saw the trailer for it on YouTube and then looked at it on Netflix, and it's called Period, End of Sentence. I'm going to put a link for it below in the description box for the trailer, not the Netflix thing. For the trailer, but if you have Netflix, I do advise you go look at it. It won an Oscar this year actually for being the best short documentary. Period, End of Sentence. It's 27 minutes long, and it's in a rural village outside of Delhi. And let me tell you something. It follows 3 women. One of them wants to be a police officer because she wants to change her life and she wants to be better, in a better position than she is right now. Well, at the time of them filming the documentary. And the other woman, just living in a village, and they were introduced to a pad making machine by a gentleman. And he invented this machine, and he came to the village and he showed the woman how to operate this machine, and it drastically changed their lives. Because of course, one, they making money. Two, they have employment, and two, they now have access to this amazing machine, and therefore these amazing products being made. And we take it for granted because you could just go down the road by awful Pennywise and say, yo, like, give me this, or just take it off the shelf and just be like, yeah, toss it in a basket, you go, you cash it out. But there are many women all over the world who do not have the kind of access that we do. So period, end of sentence, is them also not just making pads, but attempting to fight the stigma and the taboo surrounding menstruation. And the people who filming it ask a group of men in the village, what do they know about periods? And one of them said, oh, you mean in class, in school you have periods, with subjects. I was like, wow, mind blown. And there's a great percentage of men in this village who don't even want to talk about it. They were also talking to two young ladies, and they were giggling so much because they were embarrassed to even talk about their periods, because they don't talk about it. They don't have conversations about it. It is hidden. A couple women didn't even want to be on camera. They don't want to talk about it. We don't want anybody to know. We don't want anybody to see us. We don't want anybody to know that we are going to be buying the pads from you, because it's supposed to be secret and nobody should know about it. What I do love about the documentary is that they actually eventually showed you men who came to work with the woman in the factory to help produce the pads. And so there were women teaching young men how to make the pads and how to package it. And I thought that was amazing and that was beautiful. And that's just one little village outside of Delhi in India. And it's happening all across India, but it's also happening in Africa. And I'm online right now, and I'm going to go to the site. It's called AfriPads, and it's based in Uganda, in Kampala, one of my absolute favorite cities. I really want to visit there one day. And I just want to say something. These pads are freaking gorgeous. They're pink and blue, and they're cloth, and they're reusable, and they have like this amazing factory, and they do like all this outreach. I mean, it's amazing. Okay, so it says on their website, AfriPads is the leading manufacturer and largest commercial supplier across Africa of reusable sanitary pads. To date, we have provided 2.3 million women and girls across 30 countries with a sustainable solution for managing their periods. AfriPads currently employs more than 150 young women in Uganda to make our reusable sanitary pads, and are in the process of constructing a new factory in rural Uganda, which will create 500 new jobs. Are you kidding me? 500? And they have pictures of the site being constructed. It is massive. Guys, I advise you to go check them out online. They have a page called Girl Talk, where they discuss menstrual hygiene and how the entire project itself is holistic. So it's not just about going into communities and giving out pads. Here, look one. They have different sizes. They all fold. They fold onto themselves, and you can snap it and you can put it in your bag. I mean, hey, they have kits. Okay, they have kits, guys. It's ultra absorbent. They say it's natural and it's eco-friendly. I mean, hey, you could save the environment during your 7 days. Hey, Look at us. And so, yeah, so they also doing holistic programming is what they call it. And they provide a suite of free education materials, including a 3-hour-long curriculum on menstruation, a study book for period, and a data collection tool. Because, of course, when you are 12 and 13, your period may not be that way for the rest of your life. Your period could shift, your period could change, things can happen. Of course, your biology is different, things that you eat affect your period. And then, of course, we all know about sinking. Yes, we'll talk about that later. And so I really advise you guys to go and find AfriPads and like look. I'm sorry, my mouse is loud. I really can't help it. AfriPads, I'm gonna link them in the description box, guys. Just go check them out. And I'm sure there are like lots of sites that have similar outreach like AfriPads. But I really, listen, the AfriPad might be the thing, you know. Because to be very honest, guys, I am currently looking at options to move away from using tampons and pads, because I feel like my carbon footprint increases every month I have my period, because plastic, you know, and I prefer to not contribute to the decimation of the ozone layer simply by having my period. I have been researching the menstrual cup. And so far, in my head, I have Diva Cup as an option and Organic Cup as an option. Also, go on YouTube, find out all the things for yourself. But because I think cloth pads, like the ones that AfriPads offer, might be an option as a backup as well too. But I think once I have my cup, I think I'll be fine. Maybe perhaps I should, when I get one, let you guys know of my experience. Hey, that might be cool. Yeah, so let me know in the comments below if you use tampons, pads, Diva Cup, well, menstrual cups, etc., and what you prefer. If you're scared to use tampons, why? If you're scared to use menstrual cups, why? If you don't wear pads, why? You know, let's have a chat, let's have a conversation. We're gonna get into the sinking talk now. Fellas, women are superheroes. We really are. Really are. The NHS National Health Service in the UK says that our period is 6 to 8 teaspoons a month. Now, it feels like more than 6 to 8 teaspoons, to be real honest. Because there's all that tissue and blood clots and lining and all these different things. So there's that aspect of it. And when you're going through this time, sometimes you might feel like you're alone. But fellas, I want to let you know, we're superhuman. And when more than one woman gathers and we're around each other for a substantial amount of time, we sink. Meaning, if originally my period would come on the 2nd of the month and end 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, let's say on the 7th or the 8th of the month, and I'm hanging with someone whose moon cycle, or period is has a stronger, I don't know what happens, guys. I have no scientific proof of this. I'm just saying that the moon pulls women together, guys. Okay, and so my period is from the 2nd to the 8th, right? And if I'm with someone whose period is from, let's say, the 14th and goes for 6 days, if I get to the 3rd or the 4th of the month and I'm like, wait, what is going on? Where is my period? Where is it? I don't know where it is. I want to have to send Sherlock Holmes to find it. Hey. Most likely it's because my body has synced with a fellow moon sister whose period is a different day. And then like my friend will get a period. I'm like, hey, got my period. And we're like, okay, cool. Next day, I get mine. Be like, yo, you can't be shifting my period, doggy fresh. You can't be doing my that. I'm really thankful and grateful that my period comes when it has to come and it leaves when it has to leave, and it's right on time. So, personal experience. A while back, like, I knew my period was supposed to come on the 20-something, and it didn't, and I freaked out for a week. And then my coworker told me, Gil, I get my period. I was like, lucky you. And then the next night, I'm like, what is this feeling I'm feeling? Oh my gosh, I feel like my back is hurting me. And then I go to the bathroom, and there it is. Ta-da! My missed visitor. So we do that, guys. We do that from time to time. We bond in that kind of way. Yeah, we bond. Period bond. Hey! Ooh, ooh. Please don't steal it. You can use it and credit me. But yeah. So I also want to let you guys know about an awesome and amazing app that I'm going to be using very soon and giving feedback on another episode. It's called the Youth Connect app, and it's a Trinidadian app, and it was originally funded by the UNFPA, and it actually has a menstrual tracking calendar in it, and there's access to sexual and reproductive health services and stuff like that. We'll go more in depth with that app at a later date, and we'll go through it, and we'll fill with it, and we'll go through all the things that it has and all the great things that it offers. And I think it's being relaunched pretty soon, so that will be really, really exciting. If you're not like me and you don't know the exact day that your period comes, guys, please invest in a period tracker. If you are on birth control, if you aren't on birth control, please track your periods. This is how you will know if anything is wrong, if anything is happening with your body. If a doctor asks you anything, you'll know, you'll have the information. If you don't want to write it down, put it in an app, hide it in a folder. I mean, hey, keep track of your periods. There are about 16 free apps on the Play Store. I'm not an iPhone user, so I really don't know, but I assume they have the same apps in the iStore or the Apple Store, whatever it is, call it. The store with the fruit. Go in there, get a period tracker app, put it on your phone, enter your things, and these apps are really sophisticated, and they tell you things, and they let you know when you're ovulating, if you're trying to have a baby, if you're not trying to have a baby. They ask you if you're on birth control, all these different things. I mean, they ask you if you're spotting, what are your symptoms, do you have diarrhea, do you have headaches, are you bloated, do you have cravings, all these different things. And they advise you, they give you different things. What I will say, guys, is this is just me just having a chat about periods. And I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical professional, but I do advise you to be aware of your body, to know what's going on. And guys, fellas, if you have women in your life, if you're around women in your life, just you guys need to be aware as well. You know, we have bodies that are beautiful and majestic, and sometimes our bodies don't do what we want them to do. And we need help from outside, and sometimes we're not paying as much attention as we should, and sometimes we need a little gentle helping hand or nudge in the right direction. You guys, I really enjoy doing Zaboca. I will admit, I do. I enjoy it. What I'm gonna do in my next episode, or my episode after, so if not episode 4, episode 5, I'm gonna bring some friends on. I'm gonna have a chat with some friends and let some other people join the conversation, because I love talking to myself, but I know sometimes you guys may want another opinion. And I have a couple people in my circle and a couple people who are not in my circle who love to be devil's advocates. So you guys, look out for the next episode. Thank you so much for your support so far. I'm so grateful. I didn't sing as much in this episode, did I? No, I didn't. This has been episode 3 of Zaboca. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.